the courthouse.
Thank you, sir, but we're not looking. Thank you, Mr. Townsend, sir. What's your daddy doing in the courthouse? He's a lawyer, and he has a case. The grand jury's charging his client today. I heard something about it last night when Judge Taylor came over. Let's go watch. No deal. He would like that.
Today we'll be looking at Robert Mulligan's 1962 film adaptation of Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. As the scene just showed, three young characters, Jim and Scout, and their friend Dill, Jim and Scout are brother and sister, have found out that Jim and Scout's father, Atticus, is at the courthouse and he's representing his client today who's being indicted. They didn't just find out, Jim already kind of knew about it based on a prior scene where Judge Taylor requested that Atticus represent Tom Robinson, the man being indicted. The scenes that are coming up are going to be using several film techniques to convey messages of prejudice, justice, character development, etc. But the ones that we're going to be specifically looking at are blocking and lighting that are going to be used to depict characters in a certain way, characters being Bob Ewell, who's the father of Mayella Ewell, who was supposedly perpetrated against by Tom Robinson, Atticus Finch's client, and he'll be being portrayed to the audience in a way that's kind of contrary to what his peers during the time would see him as, based on the prejudices against Tom Robinson, what happened to his daughter, etc. And then blocking and lighting are also going to be used to depict the children's innocence and kind of show what they're really looking for versus what they could be looking for. As you can tell by the way that by Jim's dialogue, he's a relatively intelligent young man using like indictment and understands the concepts of what's going on with his father and the case. But he's still really young and he still has a general curiosity about what's going on. It's important to note here that the courthouse is pretty well lit. Lighting is generally bright. There aren't a lot of shadows except for the staircase, but the characters are all bright. You can see all the details. Here, while I didn't mention it before, just the acting, the dialogue represents not necessarily the fear, but the understanding of Jim, on the part of Jim and Scout, that their father Atticus is definitely an authority figure. He's powerful, and while they are curious, they understand that they could get in big trouble for what's about to happen. Additionally, at this point in the scene, you can see all three of the children and the large courthouse door. So it kind of shows that the scene is about to be much bigger than they are, like not literally, but figuratively. They're getting into something that is kind of beyond their age and their understanding.
Not much is happening. The judge looks like he's asleep. I see your daddy and a colored man. The colored man looks to me like he's crying. I wonder what he's starting to cry about. What's going on? There's a whole lot of men sitting together on one side. And one man keeps pointing at the colored man and yelling, taking the colored man away. Where's Atticus?
Here it's important to note the blocking of the scene. While Jim and Scout hold up Dill, they're never in the shot together. I mean, his butt is in the shot with them, but that's about it. And it kind of brings the attention to the fact that they're two different characters in this scene. There's Jim and Scout, well, two different sets of characters. Jim and Scout, the son and daughter of Atticus. They're much more closely related to what's going on in the case. They kind of have more, not necessarily at stake, but they're definitely more involved on not just a curiosity level, but they have an interest in it. And Dill is narrating the scene completely innocent to the fact that there is something going on. It's a bunch of white dudes versus this African American. And he's being put on trial, and something terrible is about to happen. He's crying, but Dill's narrating it as if it's just a scene happening, like coming out in front of him.
I can't see your daddy now either. I wonder where in the world.
Scout Jet. What in the world are you doing here?
Hello, Atticus.
What are you doing here?
We came down to find out where Bill Reddy was locked up. We want to see the bats.
I want you all back home right away.
Yes, sir.
Come on now. I'll see you there for dinner.
At this point in the scene, we're kind of done with the whole theme of innocence. The kids are gone, but now we're going to be moving into the character development and the portrayal of Bob Mayall's father as a certain type of man, who is willing to say certain things and do certain things, lie essentially, as it will be uncovered. Not even essentially, just lie. As the scene will portray, and the use of lighting is important here to note how the audience is supposed to see him versus how his peers would likely see him based on the narration that we got from Dill. Just right there, walks in super duper shady, literally, because the shadows. He just kind of looks like he's a sketchy character.
Mr. Ewell.
Captain, I'm real sorry they picked you to defend that nigger that raped my Mayall. I don't know why I didn't kill him myself instead of going to the sheriff. I would have saved you and the sheriff and the taxpayers lots of trouble.
Excuse me, Mr. Ewell, I'm very...
Hey, Captain, somebody told me just now that they thought that you believed Tom Robinson's story again. You know what I said? I said you wrong, man. You dead wrong. Miss Finch ain't taking this story against her. Well, they was wrong, wasn't it?
I've been appointed to defend Tom Robinson. Now that he's been charged, that's what I intend to do.
You're taking his
You'll
story.
excuse me, Mr. Ewell.
What kind of man are you? You got children of your own.
So at the end of that scene, Bob takes a stance against Atticus, very surprised that the rumors that he heard were true, that Atticus would really be defending Tom Robinson. But the point is that he was kind of given, based on the conversations that he supposedly had with neighbors. Everyone is shocked that Atticus is going to take this case against him by defending Tom. So we kind of see that he's on par. While he's a farmer and he's definitely lower status than Atticus as a lawyer, he's still, like, the townspeople would regard him as the same, which is just kind of a reference to the fact that he's white and there's prejudice against the African American man that supposedly committed a crime against his daughter. The scene kind of follows the idea that the lighting is going to be used further on, and that this character is now developed into a person. This is the first time that he's been seen on screen throughout the whole film. He's going to develop into a person that uses his place as a white person, not even a successful white person, in society to his advantage against Tom Robinson, an African American, that based on his reaction to Atticus defending him in court, likely didn't do anything, and based on the depictions, the implicit ideas conveyed by the lighting and the use of shadows and blocking in the scene, that he's a generally not good person, like darker, kind of giving the idea that he is a lesser character. this kind of sets the tone for the rest of the film, that he's going to be coming up in this light, or lack thereof. Haha. Sorry. That he's going to be coming up like that, and he will be kind of in opposition to Atticus the entire time, just based solely on his position against Tom Robinson.